everybody, I'm here, take two, with ferrets. How are you, ferrets?
Hungry and excited. War Thunder has a new update.
So at the end of the day, guys, there was no show last week because ferrets was being a little bit of a work bitch, and I did a live stream. We played some game dev and built some stuff. But at the end of the day, yeah, it was pretty lucky, and there will be no show next week because it's Christmas and I'm going to be in the middle of the desert, quite literally. All right, so let's just jump straight into it because Marvel's Rivals has reached 10 million players worldwide and keeps momentum due to awesome gameplay. Now, the reason why this is impressive is because at the end of the day, people always said that Concord failed because it was a looter shooter and no one was interested in playing it. But here you have Marvel's Rivals, who's basically a looter shooter, who has basically sold 10 million copies. So it kind of debunks this whole no one wanted to play Concord because of the fact it's a looter shoot. But the game worldwide has a new contender for crown, and its name is Marvel Rivals. Less than a week after a highly anticipated release on PlayStation, PC, and Xbox, the game has announced an astonishing milestone. The game has surpassed 10 million players worldwide. Even more impressive, the game appears to be gaining steam with audiences rather than cooling down after a bizarre hot start. So, released as a free-to-play hero shooter on December the 6th, 2024, Marvel Rivals combines the dynamic gameplay style of Overwatch with the vast, colourful universe of Marvel Comics. The formula has struck gold, as evidenced by the over 480,000 concurrent players who flocked to Steam alone during the game's opening weekend. Concurrent player numbers appear to be holding relatively strong, an indication the game may see growth over time and a huge return on investments. So, obviously, at the end of the day, hero shooters are not dead. The reason Concord failed was because it was just a bad design, just a whole bunch of bad other stuff. But yeah, at the end of the day, they tried to put politics into a video game and it didn't work. But here's the interesting thing is that Marvel Rivals also has extracurricular activities, we'll call it, ferrets.
Research opportunities.
Research opportunities. So if you go to Rule 34 and type in Marvel Squirrel, I do not advise you doing this if you're at the Fatal Heart. Yeah, you will start to see some extra stuff. And yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, I'm surprised some people can play Marvel's Rivals with one hand, but apparently they can. But guys, obviously at the end of the day, yeah, it's interesting, and obviously like with any game that gets popular, there is always going to be a Rule 34 section. So I am not surprised, but yeah, apparently it's, well, let's just say people have a thing for squirrels. Ferrets.
Well, I don't.
Sorry?
I mean, I don't, so that's not me.
Right. Okay. Wasn't going to ask about that, but if you want to volunteer that information, sure. But what I was going to say was, what are your thoughts on the Marvel Rivals, Ferrets, the actual game itself? Is this something you're probably going to play? Does it seem interesting?
I mean, I haven't actually seen a lot of the gameplay on it, so I can't really say for sure if it is something that I will play or not. I will have to look into it, like not just into the characters, but like into other things.
Right. You're going to do some market research, are we?
Sure, yeah.
Look, to be honest, I didn't even hear about it coming out or even being launched. I was a bit out of the loop on this one, and considering it has over 10 million copies sold, which is worldwide, which is nuts. It's almost as big as Black Myth, if it's not as big as Black Myth. But at the end of the day, yeah, it sort of came out of nowhere. But it's interesting the fact that people are more than willing to play this. But yeah, the criticism we heard, the reason Concord failed was because people weren't interested in playing like hero shooters. You know, it's like, well, that's obviously not true because when you look at this game. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's interesting, but yeah, I don't have it. It's free to play, so I probably could download it and give it a go, but it's not something that's normally on my radar. And to be honest, I'm kind of busy at the moment with my own project. But yeah, anything you want to add on to this before we jump on to the next topic, or?
No, not really. We can continue.
No worries. Naughty Dog has disabled comments on Intergalactic. So the Game Awards were just on, and there were obviously two big announcements that were there during the Game Awards. One was The Witcher 4, which apparently when you play, you don't play as The Witcher. So they should just call it Siri. And the other one was the Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, which is what you see on the screen. And Naughty Dog apparently has gone through and disabled comments on pretty close to upload or on upload, because they were probably worried about some of the comments that we're going to get. It's not been very well received, to say the least. Let me go through Galactic. So here. So we're going to mute it because, you know, they might try and copyright strike the video just to shut us up. Now, interesting thing is that PlayStation has left their comments open, but when you go to the actual official Naughty Dog video, here it is here, the comments have been turned off. You can see that comments are turned off. But if you go through and read the PlayStation comments, you can see why they might have shut them off. So here it's, I feel like Will Smith will slap me for making fun of her. Not surprising about this thing about this trailer is Sony. The most surprising thing about this trailer is Sony left the comments on. Sell hair. They sell hair as a separate DLC. From the studio, they got rid of all the people who originally made those games you love as a kid that we'll still take credit for. The trailer is 2 hours long. Ew, so old, we need to remaster. It's not 2 hours, is it? No, it's only 4 minutes. From the studio who brought you Crash Bandicoot, Jara, aka Dexter, and Uncharted. Nice. How many of those still work there? How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Studios shouldn't be allowed to use the "from the people who brought you" tagline if 90% of the people who made those games won't work there anymore. Sony, get your grip together. The game is going to make quadrillions dollars. The dog isn't naughty anymore. Main character looks like she belongs in Concord. Kotaku and IGN already gave it a 10 out of 10. Can I play as a character from the background? Animate instead? You know, like I said, it's absolutely getting roasted. Yeah, that one, they're playing, isn't it? But like I say, if you go to Sony's website or Sony's YouTube account, it's got 85,000 likes to 197,000 dislikes. And if you go to Naughty Dog's website or YouTube account, it's got 59,000 likes and 140,000 dislikes. So, you know, like I say, it's it's not doing well, to say the least. It's currently I just realised I'm on the wrong account. But yeah, it's on my gaming account. But like I say, it's basically going through and it's just not doing well. People are basically flaming it. and just saying that the female actress is ugly. She looks like she belongs married to Will Smith. She's obviously got no hair. Obviously, that's the joke that people keep saying or making. There's literally a scene where she's actually like shaving her head. So okay. But like I say, at the end of the day, it definitely it doesn't. It looks like it's going to be as good as what Starfield is. To be honest, it looks like it's another Starfield thing. It looks like a whole bunch of studios tried to make Star Citizen without putting in the effort. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on this?
I kind of thought it was a bit interesting. I mean, I might try when the game comes out.
Such a simp.
I mean, she's not even that hot.
No. But yeah, at the end of the day, obviously, look, people are just flaming it, saying like, this trailer's trash, blah blah blah. But obviously, at the end of the day, and there are going to be people that say that just because of the fact that they just don't like these massive game studios anymore. But at the end of the day, also let's face it, it's another female boss. And this is where it gets into The Witcher, for example. In The Witcher 4, you don't play as Geralt of Geralt of Rivia anymore. You're playing as Ciri. Are you fucking kidding? Where, it's literally called Witcher. And your response is, sorry, we're not going to give you Geralt anymore. We're going to give you Ciri, and you're going to have to play as a girl boss again. It's just, I'm so sick of this shit. I really am. I'm just so sick of fucking girl bossing everything.
At least this time the girl boss is hot.
Ciri?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been a few people that say that she's ugly.
And they're blind.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, I don't have a problem with how she looks. I think that also, to be honest, is probably a bit of astroturfing. I do wonder if that's a case of some people are just saying that because it sort of diverts attention away from the real criticism, which is, wow, it's a girl boss. So, but at the end of the day, obviously, my next culture internet pet peeve is blaware. You've seen it, you named it blaware. It's rampant on the internet these days. What do I mean by blaware? See if I can tell you. It says the headlines such as a tragic story of this state's horrid decline in the enjoyment of the iconic beloved democracy. But basically people are going through and have referred to Naughty Dog as blaware. Yeah, I might be mispronouncing that, but yeah, blaware. So... don't get me wrong, I like the context. I know the backstory of any sort of facts, contextual preleads, blah blah blah. I'm presuming they're getting it from a mixture of Bethesda and Naughty Dog, and I'm not sure how they get the name blaware, but it's just people are just like, we're just so sick of this, it's just so blah blah blah, I presume. But yeah. Anyway. Anything else you want to say on the subject before we jump on?
No, we can keep going.
Yeah, alright. Toxic echoes and undermined expectations. BioWare whistleblower details Vanguard's collapse. Another BioWare insider confirms that the 3 million copies sold figures was actually BioWare's internal projections for the sale over its title lifetime. They have not sold 3 million copies. It's probably worse than that. Disgruntled BioWare employees keep popping up to whistleblow on the failure of Dragon Age. However, according to sources, troubled EA-owned developer might see changes in their near futures. Insiders have spoke anonymously to YouTube content Smash JT, claiming that BioWare sold more copies of Vanguard than initially estimated, though the game still feels woefully short of the company's exciting sales projections. But yeah, at the end of the day, I don't think anything's going to change. when it comes to this sort of stuff. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I don't know. Have you got? Did you ever think about playing Dragon Age for it, or you?
No.
Uh, yeah.
I'm not. I'm not going to waste my time and my space for that.
So, rumored BioWare's may stealth introduce politically charged content in a Mass Effect 5. So, supposedly, an insider is claiming to be a contractor working on BioWare's upcoming Mass Effect 5 reveal that EA and BioWare might shift strategies in the wake of Dragon Age. However, since the informant is unverified, we're treating it as a rumor. A Reddit user on the subreddit of Kotaku in Action, claiming in a post to be a contractor currently hard at work on Mass Effect 5, he went on to say that all hands on deck meeting was recently called. Devs were asked to delay features, art, and content that may be deemed woke or political, and deter them to future patches. This announced, the anonymous user said that as QAS, I'm presuming that's quality assurance. We were asked to task to report if we audit or detected anything that might resemble them so they can be fixed. The company wants to launch the game as clean as possible and introduce woke stuff slightly throughout patches. So we've heard about this before. There was a rumor going around that what they're going to try and do now is they're going to try and go through and show these games as non-political and non-woke, and then when you actually play the game, that's when all of a sudden the woke stuff starts. So they're going to try and sort of sneak it under the radar until you buy it, and then once you brought it, well, too late, you bought the game then. Just because of the fact that it's not popular. People don't want to play this sort of woke trash. And this is going a little bit further. This is basically saying that what they're going to do is they're going to actually put out the game, it's going to be fine, and then after that they're going to start putting out updates or DLCs or patches where that introduces the woke ideology. What are your thoughts on this? Do you reckon they'll do that for us? Considering the backlash.
It's just so crazy that that just might happen anyways.
Yeah. I totally see them doing it. Considering the backlash,
Oh, yeah, sure.
Backlash that they've got recently, I would say, yeah, they probably would definitely try and do it.
I mean, like, why would they learn from their mistakes when they could just keep doing it over and over again and expect a different result every time?
Well, this is the thing, right? At the end of the day is they don't want to give up on the politics because they're all, far lefties. But at the end of the day, they also realise that if they put it into the game, it's not going to sell. So what do? Well, you go through it and you put it in the game at the end. You put it as a DLC or as a content that people have already paid for. Yeah. The problem with that theory is it's only going to work once or twice. Yeah. And then people are just going to stop refusing to pay for your games, even if it doesn't have woke stuff in it, because they're going to sit there and say, well, okay, well, it doesn't have woke stuff now, but what happens in a month or 6 months from now when you put out a DLC? They're going to be like, well, we're going to get the fucking woke shit then. So they're just not going to go through, and people are just going to say, well, look, stuff here, it's not buying your game. You'll probably still get some idiot who'll go out and buy it. But, the vast majority of people are just going to be like, well, we can't trust you to not put it in there, so we're not going to buy your game. So, yeah. And let's face it, the only way all this garbage stops is if people stop buying the games. Yeah. As long as people are buying these games, Star Wars or whatever it may be, then as long as people buy them, then people are going to keep making this woke garbage. You're literally going through and having you're signing your own demise. You know, because as long as you play them, they will keep putting it out there. Because hey, look, it's popular. You know. But I don't know. Any thoughts and opinions?
Nah, none yet.
No. Alright, Alyssa Kante is back in the news because she's tried to sue Smash JT for allegedly doxing her family and her and family endangerment. For doxing and family endangerment. And we do have an update on the trial. It didn't go well.
Not surprised.
Yeah, I think it was the fact that the judge has actually ruled in Smash JT's favour, I believe. Let me double check that. Also, interesting how she felt unsafe posting her own address and legal documents, but didn't have a problem including sharing mine. Or maybe they're just still doing discovery. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah. So okay. So it's still going through the courts. I thought it was finished by now. What was this argument? 12th. Oh yes, this was 5 days ago. Smash JT gone through and done an update. Finished with Meta with Rob Klein. We're in the big leagues now. Oh god, apparently she's been destroying evidence from her lawsuit. She's been deleting incriminating tweets. But yeah, but apparently the lawsuit doesn't seem to be going well for her. Big surprise there. Now, apparently after that, also the Smash JT has gone through and has been doing really, really well with it because he's doing a crowdfunding, and I'll put a link in the description below. But he's gone through and he's got a crowdfunding going for raising funds because obviously this is going to cost a lot of money for him. He's using Ron Coleman, by the way, which is a fantastic lawyer. But yeah, at the he managed to raise in excess of $43,000. Is there a link? I'm sure Park Place has gone and put one in. They have to have put one in, right? I'm surprised they didn't put one in, actually, to be honest. So let's give Send go. Smart man. And let's just search for no. Special TG fund, here it is. So the goal was 25,000. It so far has raised $53,000. So yeah, he's smashed the goal. But yeah, at the end of the day, obviously, look, it's these legal fees, they do cost a lot of money. So yeah, if you do want to feel free to give to the Give Send Go, then obviously feel free to. If you can't afford it, no biggie. But if you do have a spare cash laying around, then yeah, hop out, smash JT. But yeah, at the end of the day, I'll be very surprised if Alyssa actually wins this argument. Mainly because she literally, there's a video of her literally saying to come at her, bro, sort of thing, for, if you have a problem. And she literally says, come and fight me in real, or whatever it was. And then when they turn around, they said, well, is anyone actually taking you up on that offer? And she says no, which is a lie, because Vera Dark has actually offered to actually fight her for charity, and she refused. So, but yeah, I don't know, a little bit of internet drama. What are your thoughts, Fritz? You have no idea what this is all about, do you? You don't follow
No,
Smash?
I really don't. No idea what's going on with
You
that.
don't follow Smash JT or anything, do you?
No.
No, that's fine. He's a YouTuber. Dragon Age Velgard sales far lower than reported. Insider sets the record straight. So going back to BioWare for a little bit, another BioWare whistleblower has come forward to correctly clarify that some of the information previously reported on the internal strife at EA and developer BioWare sales numbers. The insider spoke anonymously to JT Content, Smash JT. In his videos, JT initially source told him that Dragon Age sales were better than anyone thought, with 3 million copies sold. However, apparently that's not the case. Number of copies sold is wrong, the insider said. The number of whistleblower gave you is a projection with the tail. Basically, is less than, so it sold less than 1.5 million copies. Now, you do some math. $60 a game, 1.5 million copies, probably cost them 300 million to make it. At the end of the day, it's not looking good. We worked out previously, so 1.5 million divided by 60. So they've made $90 million, and it's cost them 300 million at least to make the game. We worked out roughly they would need to sell around 5 to 10 million copies before they could actually start making profit or making a decent amount. And by the way, that 300 million is probably not covering budget for marketing or anything like that. And that 300 million is pretty conservative. Like, you don't get much for $300 million when making a game these days. So, it's not looking good for BioWare. They've already, just with what we can work out, they've already taken a loss of almost $210 million. That's bad for a game studio. That's a lot of money they lost. All because they want to put politics into their game. What are your thoughts, Fritz? Any comments?
Did I say, let them sink?
Let them burn. Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying, man. Is at the end of the day, it's just like, you put politics into a game. Don't be super surprised if we don't buy it. And last video for the day. Leaked Obsidian stack messages expose toxic environment at an avowed developer. So, another insider from avowed developer Obsidian has come forward to YouTube content creator Smash JT, and this time sharing leaked messages from the Obsidian stack internal messaging. The message shows the Obsidian staff celebrating their game coming under fire from ex-owners and world's richest man Elon Musk, while rallying around against anyone who opposes the idea of pronoun selection in video games. And of course, this behaviour was egged on by the avowed art director Matt Hansen, who made waves recently by accidentally exposing that he engages in potentially illegally hiring practices. There was the one who basically turned around and said, if you're black and you want to work in the games industry, send me your resume. I look forward to being replaced one day. Basically stating that he wants to employ black people over white people, which goes against discrimination policies. We've done it. An employee named whatever said while sharing a screenshot of Musk's reboot of the Final Fantasy game that included a pronoun section. He then said that management should let him know if this is too political and voiced a willingness to delete the message if not allowed. At most, companies sharing something so deeply divisive and political would indeed be frowned upon. But this is Obsidian, and it's overseen by Mark Hansen, a veteran art director with a long reported history of fostering toxic work environments. It's obvious by how comfortable the members are of Hansen's team were voicing their glee at the development. I've never been more proud, said Daniel Chamberlain, who indicated that he uses he/him pronouns. Another Obsidian employee brought the conversation to former World of Warcraft Mark Kern, aka Grums. Hey everyone, he said, pack it up, we've lost Grums. 8 people within the organisation reacted to this. Lol, this was literally my suggestion. Bug to add pronouns to the menu. But as I say, like they make jokes about it, saying this sort of stuff. But then when the game doesn't sell, they sit there and they scratch their head, saying, well, why isn't our game selling? It's like, well, because you put pronouns in your freaking game. You put politics into your game. Of course people didn't want to buy it. Of course people got sick of it. You know? What do you expect? But, yeah. And obviously, look, it's not everybody. Obviously, we are getting insiders that do leak all this stuff to Smash JT, Mark Kern, all these sort of guys, side scrollers who obviously report very heavily on this sort of stuff. So it's not everybody at the studio, it's just the majority, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't know, what are your thoughts on the bosses at these studios are sort of fostering this environment? Do you think it's good, bad? What are your...
Honestly, I think it's... I mean... I'm actually not for sure. I mean, I wouldn't say it's not very good.
Yeah. But then also at the end of the day, you know, if people show you who they truly are, take notice, right? But, but anyway. Apart from that, Star Citizen news, obviously 4.0, has it gone live or are we still waiting for it to go live?
Still waiting.
Patch notes. So yeah, it's all backers now for 4.0 on the PTU. Chances are it'll probably be released. I would say it's probably going to come out probably the end of this week. I would say probably around Friday this week, and they'll then give them a couple of days next week to do any bug fixing in case there is any issues. But from what I hear, the 7 meshing tech is pretty good. So there's a bit of hula at the moment about Master Mode 2.0. People are sort of jumping on that at the moment, but everything I'm hearing about server meshing is a lot of people, even Morphologist was having to say it was, somewhat good and keeping it positive, I suppose. But I don't know what your thoughts on Star Citizen at the moment. I don't get a lot of time to play games anymore. I'm too busy trying to make one. What are your thoughts on it? Have you had a chance to play it? What are your thoughts?
I actually played 4.0 that much. I've been working
Yeah.
a lot, so I mean, I haven't really got into it. I've heard that it's relatively stable
Mm-hmm.
enough to where they're doing like 500 people
Right.
now.
Cool.
But I can't actually personally say if it's running good because I haven't played it in a week now.
Yep. Yeah. Look, I want to try and give it a go, but I've got 4 days off coming up, but yeah, I don't really feel like taking my computer into the middle of the desert, and then even if I do, I'll have to take solar panels. But even then, I'm not going to get a chance to play it, sort of thing. But yeah, but and it's just busy time for me at my work, doing the gaming and everything like that, playing the game or making the game. Anything else we want to talk about before we jump off?
No, I think that's about it.
Game Awards. Black Myth Wukong got snubbed. Big
Hmm.
surprise. We kind of called that a couple of weeks ago. Basically turning around saying no shock there. But Astrobot won. What are your thoughts on Astrobot?
Haven't. I mean,
What is it?
yeah, exactly.
So basically, it's a Sony game that basically you run around and you basically collect coins and the typical Sony sort of stuff, right? And people are making references to a lot of the bad characters, and a lot of the stuff in the game looks a lot like other games. There's like scenes there where it looks like you're collecting Pokemon. There seems to be a few interesting choices, but then you know it's Sony, right? Is Nintendo going to sue Sony? Oh, probably not.
Hmm.
But don't get me wrong, it looks like it's okay to play. There's no politics or anything, which is good. But like a lot of people are claiming that the Games Awards were rigged and that Sony brought them, which I can sort of see because like fucking Astrobot, really? That beat Black Myth Wukong. Wukong won one award. I think it was for like scenery or something. I think.
Um, they won for the best sound. I think.
Yeah, sound and scenery, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah. The game that sold 10 million copies apparently didn't get Game of the Year. Okay, interesting. Sure. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts in that comment section below. Obviously, the video has been helpful. Please smack that like button. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. Apart from that, guys, you want to say bye, ferrets?
Bye.
See you guys. Have a good night. We'll see you in 2 weeks. And enjoy Christmas, everybody. And we'll see you then.